This is the Music Storm podcast where we discuss music from so many angles, from artists to producers to listeners, but with the main interest with the music industry as a whole. Today we got Kade from Throw the Fight. How you doing, Kade?
Good, man. Very good.
Good.
No complaints. It's Friday. It's sunny.
I get that. Where are you at right now? Are you at home or?
Yeah, so I'm at home. The band's in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Nice, dude. I'm just like, if you don't know, I'm from Winnipeg, so I'm just like up north from you guys. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we've played there.
Yeah, it was like back like in 2017 with All That Remains.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. My buddy, I think, shot for you guys for I think your photos and everything. So
Oh, for real?
yeah, Samuel,
That's
do you
sick.
remember? No, Samuel, nothing. Doesn't ring a bell. Nah,
Not
I
that
get
I
that.
remember.
I get that. You guys have like tours and upon like a lot of photographers and that, so I would assume you just
Yeah.
yeah.
And I definitely remember that on that tour, just some great photographers throughout that, we met and would send us photos and everything. And as grueling as it was, there was definitely some positive things that came about it for sure.
I get that. Some listeners probably might not know you, but like start off like what do you do in like Throw the Fight and like what is your band, I guess, really?
Okay, so I'm the lead singer
Mm-hmm.
of Throw the Fight. And I guess, we just classify ourselves basically as just a hard rock band. We all have different influences, punk rock, metal, post-hardcore, pop music, and it's just kind of a blend of all that. And we just try to put all of our mix together and have it come across as just hard rock, really. I mean, some songs are a little heavier than others, some riffage. And, as far as my singing elements, I try to be a little more poppy, but also having a little aggression to them, kind of like a Rise Against, Sing Scream type thing. But yeah, so I've been in the band since the band's been around for about 18 years, a long time, and got a lot of material out there. I've been in the band since 2015, and originally I played bass and sang backups and was one of the writers. And then in the last few years, I jumped into the lead singing role and not looking back.
Yeah. I noticed that. What got you into like really bass, I guess, into music? What made you start getting into that?
Well, initially, I started playing guitar at the age of 7, got into lessons, and, I'm a guitar player first, and got into singing probably around the age 9 or 10. And I always like fronted my own bands. And it wasn't until I moved to Minneapolis, I ended up playing bass and singing backups in kind of a post-hardcore band. And at that time, I knew the guys in Throw the Fight, and we've always been friends. I actually tried out for Throw the Fight early on when I moved here, and it just didn't work out. But and then the band kind of took a little hiatus, and being that we were all just best friends, Ryan, who's the only founding member of the band, reached out to me, and he was like, dude, we're thinking about writing some new music, and we would love you to be a part of it. And it was kind of a no-brainer for me, but it was, we want you to play bass. And I was like, not really what I want to do, but I wanted to be in a band with my best friends too. So I was like, you know what, let's do it. And that's kind of how I got in that role as far as playing bass with Throw the Fight. And when it comes to recording, I track a lot of the guitar, Ryan tracks a lot, and then Chris, our other guitarist. We kind of all play different roles. But yeah, so started playing bass live and singing backups. And then just like I said, in the last year and a half, 2 years, jumped into the lead singing role.
Was it like hard to get into like that role, even though like you were behind, like the not like the back, like you were the backup before. Was it hard to like transition to like the lead main role, I guess, into the band?
Not really, because like I said, early on in my musical career, I was always the front man. I was always a singer. I either played guitar and sang. I did a lot of power trio stuff, and then I ended up being the front man of a kind of post-hardcore type band. I was the front man of that, and yeah, it was just something that came more naturally to me actually when it came for me to be the lead singer. I felt more comfortable and confident doing that versus playing bass and singing and all that stuff. Not that I didn't like
Yeah.
that, but my role is definitely in my history of being
The
in
lead singer.
doing this has always been the front man and singing.
Mhm. Is that hard, you think? Like, I know a lot of like bands I've like talked to in the past, like coming into town and everything. Like, it's hard to like keep an image of like the main like lead singer role and trying to keep the image of the band. Do you think it's kind of hard to keep that kind of sense of role?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Hmm.
What's funny is I think years ago I was more concerned about that. And now just doing this and being a little more mature and that sort of thing, I don't really think too much about it. And I feel like with our band, we're all kind of our own individuals, characters, and we're more of a group versus you're the front man, you're
Yeah.
this, you're that. So I mean, for me, it's just, I mean, is there pressure to do the best and be amazing? Of course, but I put more of that pressure on myself than any fan could.
Yeah.
So, for us, it's just how can we create and put out the best music possible? And my role is to make everything catchy and uh, singable and attractive to the listener.
Yeah, like you're a big groups, I guess, selective in your band and everything. You guys are just a bunch of friends, right? And just enjoy making music for your bands, right? And then
Yeah,
you just see and enjoy what your fans are like
yeah,
listening to.
absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, we're our biggest fan. So we're not going to put out anything that we don't like. And we've already kind of worked through all the kinks and done everything. There's definitely songs that just stand out to all of us. And we're like, yeah, that's a no
Mhm.
brainer. Obviously, there's some that need a little more tweaks and stuff like that. But for the most part, we're always and always have been, thankfully, because I know not in a lot of bands, they're so fortunate. But we're kind of always just been on the same page, and what's ever going to be best for us, we're you know we hope is best for the fans as
Yeah.
well. And we kind of have a little bit broader spectrum too as far as our sound goes. We recently just released a acoustic reimagined type EP, which it's 4 songs that were off our latest record, Settle Your Sins, and which Settle Your Sins is more upbeat, in your face
Mhm.
type hard rock music, and then with the acoustic reimagined thing, it's a little more dialed back. Some of that stuff's a little more in my comfort zone as far as singing, just like the melodies and not so harsh on my vocal cords.
Yeah, I could see that.
But at the end of the day too, we want to just um we want to have the music like in your face and something that you can bob your head to.
Yeah, like anytime I see a band that does an acoustic like album or EP, I applaud them for doing it because I always love hearing like an acoustic strip down of probably your favorite song on the album, and now it's
Yeah,
like acoustically, and you could
yeah,
probably even play it on like a coffee shop tour or even like at home or something. It's
a
honestly,
thousand percent.
yeah,
Yeah, my music theory for myself is I always write everything acoustic, and if it can be portrayed and catchy on acoustic, then you can add whatever bells and whistles to the song and build on it,
yeah,
and it's just going to get sicker, right?
yeah,
But it was something that we never really did before, is like a dialed back kind of just mellow type stuff, especially a record or an EP of that sort. And it really had a huge response, really. and it's just fitting. I kind of joke around with the guys. You can't just be sitting around in the house with your girl and or boyfriend or whatever, and listening to Sell Your Sins and cooking dinner and stuff. That's something you're going to listen to more like on a drive or in the gym. And with our acoustic EP titled Inside Out, you can kind of put that on cooking dinner, hanging out, just kind of a chill night, sets the tone, one thing leads to another.
Yeah. Dang, like I love it. I absolutely love the acoustic, and I hope you do. Maybe in the possible future. I don't know if you guys are talking about it. Maybe an acoustic album. Maybe in the works.
I think right now we wanted to definitely test the waters with the EP and with the response and everything. I don't know if we would necessarily do a full record.
Yeah.
But I definitely could see us doing another EP or a couple singles.
Yeah.
It was easy to do the reimagine thing because the song's kind of already being written. We just gave them a different light. But I mean, who's to say? Like I said, I write everything acoustic and could say, hey, here's a song how it is, and one thing leads to another, and we've got a whole album.
Yeah. Like that's different too. Like I've not talked to like a band or an artist at all yet, like who's done like acoustic first before they make anything like actual rock or sounding or metal sounding, right? Which is interesting. I like that how you guys do that though.
Yeah, one thing we did too with the Inside Out EP is there's a song on there called Going Numb. Well, we released it acoustic, and then just a couple of weeks ago, we released the full band version of it.
Yeah.
And I've read some comments and read some reviews, and surprisingly, a lot of people were stoked about that. Not many artists do the acoustic first and then the rock thing. But one reason we put Going Numb on there acoustic is it was kind of written that way. It was written acoustic, and so it was easy to transition when it was already that way. And then we had the full band version kind of already in the hopper, and it was an no-brainer. It's more ballady, so there's certain songs of ours that obviously won't come across as attractive acoustic. They're a little too riffy, but we tried to go with more like the singy ballady type ones to set that vibe.
I feel you. What do you do in like your pastime when you're not working or creating music for Throw the Fight usually?
For me, I mean, music's usually what I'm always doing. I have a solo project as well titled KADE KASTELITZ. So I'm releasing a lot of music on my own. And then other than that, I mean, all for myself, I'm a new dad, and all the other guys in the band are dads. So, we're usually doing the dad role and rock and roll.
Yeah, it's a lot of dads in the music industry, you could tell. Like they're always busy, and you make a lot of rock stars out of a lot of dads, I could see.
Yeah.
Are you influencing him a lot with some music or not? You think?
Say that again?
Are you gonna be influencing him a lot with some music, you think, for the rock and metal stuff or not?
I hope so.
You hope so?
I mean, that's the goal, man.
Hey, maybe he'll become the next Throw the Fight person.
Well, I keep joking that, I've got a little girl, Jeff, he's our drummer. He's got a little boy. Chris has a boy. And then Ryan's got a boy and a girl. And I'm like, that's just the new generation of Throw the Fight. Once we give it up, they can kind of just keep on the name, and maybe they'll just be a group and continue the stride.
That'll be funny, and that'll be cool actually. Just generations upon generations, just Throw the Fight.
Yes.
That'll be new. That'll be different, I guess.
Hey, I don't know. I mean, all of our kids seem to like our band, so why not join it one day when we're ready to give it up?
I love that. What do you suggest to someone that's getting into music or starting to do bass right now? What would you suggest to them?
As far as if you're just getting started, I mean, no matter what instrument you're picking, is just practice, 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 and get your, obviously take from your influences, figure out who you like, what inspires you, and I mean, it's just putting in the work and sticking with it. Really, I mean, if you would ask me 10 years ago, would I still be I mean, I probably still would be. I'm a little bit different, but there's so many people that kind of quit and give up and think that, they're just gonna end up on the radio and quit their job and, it's all glitz and glam after that. But, for the most part, it's just staying with it and perfecting your craft, just like anything. If you're a painter, you're a writer, you're a basketball player, whatever, it's just putting in the time. And, for me, like I said, I started at a very, very young age at playing guitar. I ended up playing drums and saxophone and just absorbing all sorts of different instruments and trying to perfect them all. And, just find out what you're passionate about and keep doing it. And, and then finding people that are like-minded and motivated as you are, and surround yourself with those people that are going to push you and make you better is the other thing too. And that's where just being with the guys and throw the fight, we're always inspiring each other and supporting of each other, where we've all kind of had members or been in bands where you kind of have that,
Good
you're
dynamic,
button
right?
heads, or
Yeah.
you get egos involved or whatever. It gets ugly, but just keeping your head down and doing the hard work.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it. I'm surprised how you guys have gone through the years. Like there's so many bands have like broken up from so many years and everything, right? Like
Yeah.
how did you guys think you've gone so far, right? Like 18 years, like you said, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a long time, right?
Yeah.
I think again, it's just us being driven, and music makes us happy. It's our therapy for each other. It brings us together, and we're constantly inspired. And you definitely see bands come and go as we've been doing it, and it's the long game, really. I mean, I just listened to something the other day, and it's like, you can either pop off when you're 20 or pop off when you're 30 or 40. What would you rather have? And some of those people that pop off when they're 20, they're already gone. I would rather
Yeah.
I'd rather keep a steady stride versus just like, we're a one hit wonder and then, nobody really gives a shit.
Yeah.
I would rather just, how can we keep doing this and making music and gaining new fans?
Yeah. Like
So that's really how we look at it.
yeah, that's a good analogy. I've not heard like that analogy of like, hey, you might not end up in after when you're 20 you pop off or like yeah, that's a cool analogy that you found
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, what would you rather have? I mean, for as long as we've been doing it, and yeah, we've all had success, but I'd rather be able to keep doing it and performing and playing music, instead of just being 25, 26, and you kind of had a good run, and now you're working at Subway or something, and no and you're like, everyone's like, oh hey, you had that one song. I don't want to be known as the one song guy.
I don't think you
So
guys are the one song kind of guy deals.
no, I
No,
don't think
no.
so either.
Like you guys have many more records I think that you guys can make and will make that are amazing probably. And I can't wait to
Yeah, I
see more.
mean, I think even with the last single, Going Numb, has our album did well, even though it was in the middle of what's going on. We weren't
Pandemic,
able to
yeah.
tour, and uh, but I mean, shows will come back, and we will be performing that record, absolutely. But I think, again, with like Going Numb, it's one of our best streaming songs in a short time, and it just motivates us to be like, let's top that, let's do another one, let's so that's just kind of nice. And the way music's digested nowadays and released, it's almost like there's a new single every Friday,
Yeah, that's true.
versus uh, uh, you know record days where you wait for a year and you hear your band's favorite record and you listen to it for a couple months, and then you got to wait another year or two for the next thing. We're starting to rethink our um
Strategy.
yeah,
Yeah.
just how we're going to do things. And plus it's fresh to us. We want to put stuff out that we just wrote and it's exciting to us, and then get that out.
Yeah, but you have like a label and all the promotions and all that stuff that's like, listen, guys, you gotta hold back for a bit, right?
Right. Yeah, and we had to play that game, and we did that whole thing, and now we're independent. I mean, we are signed, but we don't have restrictions, I guess.
Okay.
And it's kind of like we can do whatever we want
Mm-hmm.
and whenever we want, and that's just really nice. I mean, I've never really agreed with the restrictions as far as what a label says and does. And we're artists. We should be able to
Yeah.
be free in our art and put it out however the hell we want.
Yeah. Like there's so many bands that are going into like labels that they don't know on signing a contract they could be screwed upon like right
Yeah,
away.
yeah. I mean, whether it's you're committing so much time of X amount of records
Mhm.
in a however many years, or you're not getting the rights and royalties to your music for a number of years, if at all.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just a death sentence. We had our opportunities to sign with some decent labels, and at the end of the day, we all just kind of asked ourselves, like, where do we see ourselves in 5 years or 10 years? And when you're signing those contracts, it's nice and shiny, but you got to open your eyes and be like, hey, that's a long time. What could we do on our own in 5 years or 10 years? And plus, like, happens, man, you break up, things go south, and you're still held accountable and on the line for whatever you signed. And
True.
to me, that's a tough commitment to make.
Yeah. Like I was actually gonna ask you, like you guys were like I did not know that you guys are kind of like independent in that still. Like I know you guys are part of a record and not. That's
Yeah,
was wondering like how much independence do you guys really have you, I guess, really?
I mean, we're extremely fortunate
Mm-hmm.
for how independent we can be. We're signed with Bullet Tooth Records, who helped put out Settle Your Sins, which came out in August. But that was our only commitment. So it's like, hey, what if we want to do off singles? What if we want to do the acoustic EP? Are we tied to anything? And it's no. Like, that's 100% you. Like, you get 100% of the profits of that. And if you want to release a video, that's on your dime. Luckily we're self-sufficient and
Yeah.
can have the ability to put out videos and whatever we want to do. But anytime you're tapping into your label, that's your bank. So you go, hey, I want to make a video. Okay, that's $3,000. Guess what? We got to pay that back eventually.
Yeah.
Where if it's $3,000 for us, we just pay it, and here we go. We got a video on our own. We don't have to pay anyone back. And what we see from the response to that video is profit.
Yeah, that's great and encouraging for you guys. Like, I know, like, I think I talked to a couple bands and everything. Like, they're really locked into a contract that they still have to get money from the said record label for these
Yep.
kind of videos, and then they have to pay it off and everything. Like, it's just a mess and everything. And that's very encouraging to you guys that you guys can just pay on your own, do these videos, and even for yourselves, you just had
Right.
to release the record, right? And you can do
Right.
these off singles, which is, I think, the best bet for a band, really, right?
Yeah. I mean, you again, like, restrictions are tough, especially when it comes to art. And we've seen label deals where you're held to X amount of albums or
Yeah.
songs, and you ask those questions like, well, what if we wanted to release a song on our own or do whatever? And it's like, no, they get a cut of that one way or the other. And I mean, there is beauty to it because they help with distribution and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
for the most part, if you can own the rights and you can control your band or your art, you're going to be happier at the end of the day. I'll say that.
Right.
You're not stressed out. I mean,
Exactly. You got money that's coming in, money coming out. You're living life, right?
right. Yeah. I mean, it's all work, but if you don't have kind of those limitations or demands, it just makes it a whole lot easier, and you still have love and passion for it. Because, I mean, for me, sometimes when I'm told to do something that I don't want to do, I kind of just shut down and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Like, sorry. Versus, hey, we don't have any expectations. We don't have deadlines. The deadlines we do have, we put them there, and then we see through them.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, how come you guys did go actually into a label? How come you guys aren't just not independent right now, actually?
I mean, again, there is benefits to label, right? There's helps with distribution and getting things into, um, you know, more, how do I want to say, just different
Promotion,
resources,
I'm guessing.
right?
Yeah.
Promoting.
Hmm.
So it's nice to have that in your back pocket and use it. Um, I think, moving forward, who knows? The industry is forever changing, and we're seeing that we can be somewhat successful just doing things on our own. And then at those times that if we want to cut a record or want to sign with someone, we have the option to do so. But I definitely see more the DIY process of, hey, if you can figure out how to record or edit your own videos, whatever you can do in-house, it's just going to save you so much more
Yeah.
money in the end. And that's kind of the steps that we've kind of been taking. uh, One of the bands that we kind of look up to as far as a successful independent artist is just Our Last Night.
Oh,
They have, they're putting out videos that they film on their own. They're recording everything on their own. They're not signed. They're extremely successful. Yes, they're putting out covers constantly, but that they built that audience,
yeah.
right?
True.
So
True.
that's what their fan base wants and is excited about. Yes, we put out a couple covers, but we're not a cover,
Band, right?
band.
Yeah.
But for us, it's just like, hey, if we can keep pumping out music pretty frequently, then I think we'll have a pretty good shot at being successful independent artists.
Yeah. I see that. Do you think you think artists should go independent, you think, nowadays, or should they go into a label?
I mean, everybody's situation's different, right? So you got a new artist who's they're trying to grow their audience and their platform, and a label can do that for you.
True.
They have connections, they have uh, a whole network on their own, versus a guy who's just trying to write and record and put stuff out and grow his audience organically. It's a lot of work, but I guess it all depends what your goal is at the end of the day of, and the type of success you want. And just because you do sign to a label doesn't mean you're going to be, somebody that they're going to put all their eggs in one basket with.
Right.
They've got multiple different artists on that label that, let's be honest, are more like the breadwinners. They're going to focus on those people that make them money, not you down on the low tier. And it's like, yeah, it's fun to say, oh, I'm signed to a label, but what are they doing for you? And are you better off on your own? Everyone's kind of, every situation's different, right?
Yeah. Like, I guess you guys at one point were like probably at the bottom end of the stick, right? For, I guess, a label, right? And then
Right.
you guys worked your way up. Like, how would you say would be a good way for a band to say, hey, okay, let's go to a label? How would you tell them, hey, maybe let's go up? How would you encourage them to go up?
As far as the artist,
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, I mean, I don't know. That's a great question, because who's ever in charge of that label is going to kind of
Well,
put you in your place. You're like, hey, pay attention to me, and I want A, B, and C done. But it just depends on, are you willing to grind and get out there on the road and tour nonstop? For us, that's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, we maybe would have, but I think it all depends. I mean, it's all gamble, right? I mean, you can sign to a label and things could work out and pop off, or you could sign to a label and you're kind of just, chump change to some, and you just keep grinding. I mean, nothing's guaranteed in the music business.
I get you. And you just got to know your connections, right?
Right.
It's all connections, networking based, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's connections. It's first and foremost, write good songs and know how to play your songs and know your craft. Be the best guitar player you can, be the best singer, drummer, whatever it is, and write good songs, because you can be signed and you can have all this stuff, but if you have garbage songs, people are going to see through that real quick. And there's so much music being thrown out there daily that people skim through a song so fast, and it's either they digest it or you're done. And that's unfortunate, but that's the time we live in, really.
Yeah, like there's so many.
I mean, it signed, not signed. It's just owning your craft, doing what makes you happy and that you're passionate about, and writing the songs and putting out the songs that you care about, because whether you play them live or you release them, people are going to see and connect with that, and they will understand, like, if you're just half-assing it. So
I fully agree on what you say. You gotta really push your limits on everything that you possibly can, I guess. Really.
Yeah. I mean, you want to make yourself better first, and then focus on the rest. Because then all the other stuff's business. And business works in all sorts of different ways. But if you can know, hey man, I'm giving you a song that I wrote blood, sweat, and tears, and it means a lot to me. Maybe it doesn't to you, but you're the business. Like, and some people, they don't really care. You could give them the best song in the world, and they're like, oh, no. But then as soon as people start jumping on that, wagon of like, oh my God, this song is awesome, nobody cares unless somebody else starts caring. And then before you know it, they're like, oh, you're right, this is the best song. You're like, dude, 3 months ago, you threw it in the trash.
I feel you. But it also depends. Like, you could have a different mood. Like, I've talked to people like, hey, I hated this song, but like one day it's amazing.
It connects. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's certain albums that I put on, or songs that I put on at certain times that, sets the mood, sets the tone, makes me feel, if I'm in a certain mood, I can put it on and it connects with me. Absolutely. I mean, that's the beauty of music and all the different genres and everything that are going and crossing each other's paths and everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, what is like your guys' like dream tour? What would your dream tour be, you think?
Oh man, that's a great question. I would love to tour. I mean, I'm all over the place. So as far as our style, I love Architects. I love, huge fan of Rise Against, Papa Roach. They've been grinding and doing it and successful for many, many years. A Day to Remember. I'm a huge fan of the band Polaris, Parkway Drive, Every Time I Die, stuff like that. So it's a stacked lineup, let's say that.
That's a very stacked lineup. I'm just like, every single band, I like, you're perfect. I love it. You think you will tour, you think, with one of those bands in the possible future?
Hey, I'm manifesting it, man. So yeah.
Honestly, I could see at least one of them. You guys will be like, oh my gosh, here's this dream tour. Here we go, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely, we've had, and this is before my time, the guys had some successful tours, and we played some festivals that, you're just happy to be on the same bill as, we were on with Slayer and Stone Sour and Black Sabbath and,
Legends. Yeah.
Even Miss May I, who's just a sick metal band, Memphis Mayfire, just stuff like that. So, just having your name in the same hat as those guys and playing a show like that that's a win.
Yeah.
And just awesome. We're playing Rockfest in July coming up here in Wisconsin, and it's just crazy stacked lineups of bands you grew up listening to or just started listening to. And but I mean, as far as tours, story of the year, they're legends in our book. Like I said, Papa Roach. I mean, just to be on a bill with one of those guys is a dream come true, really.
I could see that. Like, honestly, Papa Roach and like a lot of those bands that you mentioned, like Architects, Black Sabbath, like there's so many bands that has like influenced the genre game completely, and just touring and just meeting with those guys is probably legendary, right?
Right. Well, and one thing too is, back to what I said before, is our sound is, it's a little more diverse than a lot of other groups I feel out there, because we could be out with let's say a more melodic rock band where we have a set list that we could create to meet that audience expectations. And then let's say we go out with a band like Architects or something like that, and we have songs that just straight kick you, and we just rip through a set, and fans will be like, oh my god, but then they could listen to some other songs on your record and be like, whoa, I had no idea that they had kind of these ballads or poppy elements. And I think that just kind of attests to all of us having different inspirations and putting all those into our songs that we have. And you could put us out with any type of band where, let's face it, there's certain bands where what you get, and there's nothing wrong with that, but every song starts to kind of blend and mesh and be somewhat the same, and they don't go too far off the beaten path of they're tried and true, which is fine. But for me myself, I'm always trying to push the elements and trying to get something new out of each song that we do. But yeah, I mean, for us, I mean, we slam live, we're super active on stage, and we pay for it being sore the next day. But we just try to be high energy and match also the energy within the songs too.
And the crowd sending too. The room really sets a tone for everything, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's another thing too, is I feel with kind of our different styles and songs, is you can start reading the audience and know what they're kind of vibing on. And, we could be mid set and be like, yo, let's just keep slamming. Let's put this one in now. And kind of do what we want. And that also, helps that we've been around so long. We have a back catalog that we can tap into if we need.
True. And that's the best part about you guys being a band for 18 years. You release so many songs and mix stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's nice. I mean, we're definitely more focused on everything we've done recently, especially with me being the front man. But I feel we've had such a great response to that stuff that we're just like, yo, let's just keep everything fresh, and keep the new fans and old fans happy, and keep gaining new ones day by day.
Yeah, I love that. And hopefully I see you guys in Winnipeg again once COVID's over.
Dude, we talk about going to Canada all the time. We definitely don't want to do it in the middle of December again.
Yeah, sucked, man. It's terrible here. It's minus like 45 Celsius here. And
yeah, dude, we got stranded outside of Saskatoon, or no, Thunder Bay, excuse me. And it was minus 35. Our bus broke down, and we called for like all these tow trucks to come get us, and they're like, no, we don't tow anything that big. And I mean, I thought we were just gonna die out there. I thought we were gonna freeze. It was in the middle of nowhere. Luckily, like some dude pulled over, and not even for us, he just pulled over, and we like opened the door, and he's like, hey, and we're like, yo, and he ended up helping us. And then during that time, all the Remains bus drove by, and they backed up and let us sit in their bus and warm up, because we were freezing our ass off, man. We had no heat in the bus. Like I had blankets over my head. We were talking to each other. Had like, we weren't even looking at each other. We were all just like covered up and just like freezing. And we're like, we don't know what to do. I'm calling all these like tow truck places on my phone, and just like, it was awful.
I'm
but
sorry for
we made it.
but it's kind of okay. The only thing I'm laughing at is just you guys being cold because you're from Minnesota. You should expect this coldness though.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's how cold it was. And we're out in the middle of nowhere. And it was probably like, I think it was like 6, 7 in the morning, right?
Oh,
and you're just like, you'd been up for way too long, because the drives in between each spot in Canada it's not like, oh, hey, drive 4 hours to Milwaukee, or it's ridiculous. It's stupid. But, every time we got to a show and we played it, I mean, it's almost like you forgot about the entire drive, and
it's worth it in the end, though. That's the thing.
I mean, every show was insane. It was so sick. Everyone was so nice. I would go out after each show and sign and sell CDs. And I mean, there was people coming up, and we all selling them for like $10 a pop. And there'd be people like, oh, here's $40. I'm like, okay, how many CDs? No, that's cool. And just like so nice. And I mean, just the response, I feel like people care and weren't like reserved to just have a good time, where, let's face it, certain spots in the States is kind of just like, everyone kind of stands and stares at you, and it's almost intimidating, until like people start, loosening up a little bit and seeing that other people are having a good time. It's like, oh, okay, I can let my guard down and enjoy myself. Where there, it was like, from song one, whether they heard us before or hadn't, they're just like, killing it, just going for it. And we were just, every show we were just like, whoa.
It's, for us Canadians, I've noticed it just takes one song for us. Like, it really sets the mood for us up here. It's like, hey, if this song bangs, we're just gonna bang the whole entire time. That's what I've noticed. Yep, absolutely. I mean, I'm a huge fan of so many Canadian bands too. I mean, one of my favorites all time is Silverstein. And I mean, of course, you got Avril Lavigne, and she's making comebacks. But I mean, if we could play every show and it had a crowd like people in Canada, hell yeah. I mean, I'd be on the road 365. That would be great, but Canada's a small place, dude. So I can't. Yeah. I definitely want to go back though. I mean, Toronto is killer. Like I said, Winnipeg. I'm trying to remember where we played. Oh, I've got a poster actually on my wall of Winnipeg. The Garrick. Yeah, the Garrick. Yep. That's it. Yep. Yeah, I'll even show it to you. Oh, that's cool. Yo, you kept that specific poster. That's awesome. Yeah. Throw the Fight and Tyrant's Demise. I don't know. They were the opener or whatever, but yeah, I kept every poster from the tour, but let's just say some of them didn't make it so well on the road, and I had 2 of that one, and they were the most well kept and pristine. So I got home and framed them right away, and they're hanging up. To me, that's kind of cool that you hanged up something that's like that far long ago, but also it's just like, hey, it's kind of hometown, right? And it's kind of cool that you framed it. That tour meant so much to me because one, it was routed to Montana. I'm originally from Montana. And so we played Billings, Montana with
All It Remains. It was sold out show. It was first show of the tour. I think it was like 600 cap room.
Oh, wow.
Just slammed. Well, I had a bunch of old classmates and friends that came into town to watch us. And then the following night, we did an off tour show in my hometown of Livingston. And granted, it snowed a ton. So there was a ton of people that couldn't make it, but I got to perform in front of family and friends that I hadn't seen in years. And it was just like, for me, it was a dream come true to go back after so many years of being gone and perform in my hometown and, roll up and be in somewhat of a successful band and just crush it. And then we got to go up to Canada and all those other shows. I mean, the first show in Canada was Calgary, and I can't remember the venue we played, but it was insane. It was so cool. And just people went nuts. And we ended up hanging out with so many people afterwards. And it just set the tone for the rest of the tour.
Yeah. Like, what was it like playing in front of like your family? Was it nervous at all, you think? Were you messing up?
I mean, it was probably definitely one of the most exciting shows I was, excited about.
Yeah.
A little nerve-wracking. I had expectations of it. Obviously your family has expectations, but as soon as the song started slamming, I was kind of just on a totally different adrenaline high than ever before. And you kind of look out and, I'm seeing my parents, I'm seeing cousins, aunts, uncles, and they're all banging their head. And you're like, this is sick. And a bunch of old classmates. And there was people in my class that used to make fun of me or rip on me or whatever. And they're in the show and you're just like, this is awesome. This just being able to come back and like bring everyone together was, like I said, it was a dream come true.
That's cool. Was that your favorite tour, or what is your favorite tour with the band specifically?
Definitely. I mean, the All It Remains one in Canada was a highlight for sure. I think, we went out with some friends of ours, also from the cities here, called Glass Houses, and we went out for a couple weeks. What's that?
I love that band. Love.
Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah.
And some other friends of ours called Dead Ships, and they're from Chicago. But we went out with those guys, and that was just super fun, and being able to go to different locations that we've never played. And it's just always cool meeting new fans. And I think they all kind of have their own special meaning to you.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's face it, tour doesn't suck. I mean, it's a grind, but it's just awesome, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting back out and performing more. And it's just something that I think as a fan and even as a musician is just something we've missed dearly, and I don't think we'll ever take for granted ever again.
Well, it depends on certain artists. Like, I know that you love touring, but like some bands, artists just hate touring like so much. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's brutal.
Well, yeah.
And for us, we've never been like a on the road touring band. It just doesn't. It's just not in the books for us. Like I said, we have grown-up jobs and we have families and stuff like that. It's got to make sense for us. And one thing that we always say is what we can control is the music that we put out and how often. And so I think we spend more time as far as the writing and creating and putting out music versus like hitting the road. But you definitely need to perform, and every show needs to just bring it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think with me being the front man and maybe the way things have been, and especially missing out on last year, we'll probably perform more than we ever have. I know we had high expectations in 2020 to tour quite a bit and get over the UK, and they kept pushing that back. And that's been a bucket list for all of us, is to be able to go to the UK and perform. our audience is primarily overseas.
Oh, really?
To be honest, yeah. And so I think right now we're looking at tentatively like October of 2022 to go over to the UK, because I pushed 2 tours back in 2020 because of COVID. So, I mean, that would be ideal to get over there a couple times. And those are a tour I'm worth going and being gone for.
Like, it's
even if we lose money.
Well, yeah, it's worth it in the end. You get to experience UK, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you could say that your art and music was able to,
Went
help
overseas?
you travel the world, do it.
Exactly. Even if you lose money, in the end, you got to travel a place that you never traveled before, too.
Dude, it's experiences, life's experiences. Money's going to come and go. Back in the day, it'd probably be something that we would have been like, no, it doesn't make sense. But, as we've been doing this, and, we all have kind of like our highlight reel, our bucket list of that we want to accomplish before we hang up the cleats. And it's like, let's make those things happen before anyone's like, you know what?
I feel you.
Time to call it a day.
I feel on that. Well, like, I don't know if you could talk about this, but are you like, I guess you did the record last year. Are you starting to work on the next record already, or no?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we put out Settle Your Sins in August. It got pushed back because of COVID. And like I said before, it was something that we performed one show last year. So we were able to play some of the songs off the record. And, with shows that are coming up, we're definitely going to be playing a lot of the new record. And we've got lots of demos in the works. We actually go in the studio next Saturday to track a new song.
Okay.
And I think we've got probably 6 to 8 solid demos or songs that we're counting on. We're constantly writing.
Yeah.
I'm constantly writing. I just invested in like a home studio. And I think, we definitely have a different outlook and work ethic moving forward, especially, COVID made us kind of change the way we did things. So I feel we're probably going to turn around music and write more music than we ever did before. And so, but I mean, to get to your question, as far as like, are we going to do a new record? Maybe, I think we have collections of songs. So, again, with us being independent, we're going to the studio next Saturday. We're going to try to get that song in the mix and out as soon as possible. And then with the other ones, we're currently shopping different producers that we want to work with. Again, kind of just like a bucket list and dream to work with certain producers that have an interest in us and that we have interest in. And it's kind of just like, let's have fun. And, if somebody wants to work with us, let's do it. And whether it's a song or two, or they're like, hey, let's do a whole record. We have enough material that we're just like, let's do it.
Yeah, that's great.
So I think, for the rest of this year, probably expect quite a few new songs, if not another EP. And then I just know for sure, we've always had like this long in between of, here's a record, and then you wait a year or 2 years, and here's another record, or maybe here's a single in between. Not happening no more. Like, my wheels are turning, I'm going, and we put out more music in the last year and a half than we have in a number of years, and it's not going to stop.
Okay. I'm glad about that.
It's definitely exciting times for sure.
Yeah. I think the whole entire music industry will be changing, I think, more on like this route, like one single every like 2 to 3 months for a band, probably.
Yeah. I mean, and it's tough too, because we talked about it, where music's digested differently now, where you can release a single or two and you get more listeners on that, and then you put out a whole body of work. well, towards the end of the record, let's say song 8, 9, and 10, you're not getting the streams like you would the first half or first singles you release from it. People just don't dive into the art like they used to unless they're super diehard fans. But granted, there's certain bands that they are album bands, like a Silverstein or I don't know. They're just guys that have had that format for so long where their fans are like, yeah, I'm willing to wait for a record, A Day to Remember, right?
Yeah.
3 years and they finally put out a record.
Yeah, I'm shocked how long that was.
But they can do that. They've built their audience and their fan base is so loyal where, for us, yes, we have a loyal fan base, but I want to constantly gain new listeners and new fans as much as possible. And I don't like to wait. I'm one of the most impatient people there is. So if I'm waiting to put out my own music, I don't want a fan to wait as long.
Right. Yeah. And it also like really makes fans like go away from you, I think. What I've noticed. Like if you're not putting out content for these fans and everything so on, right? They're just gonna find other bands to just, I guess, listen to, but I don't know what you consider that.
Yeah. Another way I look at it too is let's say we put out Going Numb. It's more of a ballady type song. Well, let's say the next song is just a banger, right? Yeah. And then people are like, okay, wait, are they going this direction? Right. And then you put out a different type of song. But if you put out a whole body of work that's kind of all over the place, it's tough to navigate where or understand where the band's going or wrap your head around it. And there's so many times where a band will try something new and put it all out on a record, and then fans, this band sucks now. Nah, 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 nah. It's like they're just evolving as musicians and they're trying stuff. But exactly. I feel like the singles game or even EPs, like it's easy for a fan to digest, and maybe they don't like that song, but guess what? In 6 weeks, they're going to come back and listen to the next song you did, and they might think that slams. True. So it's kind of it's however anyone can connect with it too.
Yeah, like
timing.
Yeah, timing's key for everything. Like you get new fans, sometimes you get old fans coming back. You get everything. But do you get really discouraged from like one song doesn't do well, then the other one you wish it got better or not at all?
I think at times, anyone does. I'd be lying if I said no. It's just crazy though, because certain songs pop off more than others. And, we released a song called My Disaster, was the first song that I debuted on as a lead singer. And we thought that was, it had a cool, funny intro, awesome pre-chorus. The chorus is just catchier, and it did okay. But then it was the next single we did, Wolves in the Dark, and that's one of our most streamed songs, and it's got over 2 million views on YouTube. And we're like, okay, wait a second, why is this one doing so well when we thought My Disaster was? Right. So it all depends on the fan, and it's really tough to gauge. You never know. One of our favorite songs could not be everyone else's favorite, and one of our least favorite is everyone else's. So true. It's tough, but yeah, you just try to be level-headed and not get too discouraged and overthink it, really.
I feel you. Like, what do you like this term, music industry as a whole? What do you consider that, I guess, to you think? That term.
Music industry as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole. Like labels, streaming, everything right now. What do you consider that term? You think? Like, what do you think about it?
I think that's tough because it's so new. It's forever changing. Streaming is fairly new to us. I'm excited about it though. I think it's limitless. Anyone can be an artist right now. Anyone can put out music. You have the capability of finding your audience, and I think it's just exciting, and I'm finding new favorite bands all the time, where I may have never discovered them, unless I was going to a show and seeing them open up or something like that. Where now I can be on my couch and scroll on Spotify and see liked artists or something like that, and you're like, oh shit, I found a new favorite band, and so I think it's good. Obviously there's give and take with all of the business aspect, and you know, uh, it's never been perfect, and I don't think it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
And artists deserve more than they ever have, but we all should be grateful for what we can do and have the capability to continue doing what we love, really.
Right.
But I think it's awesome. I hear a lot of positive things with Spotify that they're going to be doing in the future with their app, and connecting fans and listeners and all that stuff. And, I grew up in the MySpace and Pure Volume days, and, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And nowadays with Spotify and some of the other ones, it's um, TikTok, I don't understand, but I
A lot
understand
of
it.
bands just don't understand TikTok still. It's a
It's just
new. It's
crazy.
weird.
I don't see how they work cohesively, but
I don't
I
know.
don't know. But I just think it's exciting times, and whether you want to be an independent artist, you can do it and put your music out. You have the capability of releasing your music. And before, it was kind of, you had to be signed, or you had to do something extravagant just to get your music heard, or there was only certain platforms you could put your music on, like let's just say YouTube. Like
True.
some artists, it was like, hey, you want to listen to me? YouTube, that's it. Now you have Deezer and Tidal and all these things. So there's all these different platforms, and I think it's great.
Yeah, it's great. That's how I found you guys. It was from Spotify. Just recommended me this
Sick.
song. I'm like, yo, this sounds great.
Sick.
So hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. I mean, it kind of, you you start seeing bands, and it starts, I mean, algorithms, love them or hate them, they suggest certain things at times that it's like, oh man, thanks. I would have never heard this band or seen this band. And I think that's been fantastic for us. I mean, we're always gaining new listeners just because of that platform alone.
Right.
So yeah, and the new thing too is just playlists. I mean,
Yeah.
people creating playlists and putting you on playlists, and keep spinning that stuff. It's fantastic. Where you used to just fight and fight to get on the radio, or you have to have a certain song to get on the radio. And nowadays it's just like, hey man, I just want to land a playlist, and people are stoked.
Yeah. It's like radio is essentially a dying platform. To me, it's like a hit or miss. Like playlisting and radio, I think is like a hit or miss because there's still octane, right? So
Right. Yep.
so there is essentially both, I would say.
Right. And Octane and like Sirius, they have it figured out, because they're evolving new artists, and they're always like keeping it fresh,
Right.
right, for new listeners. Where you've got the old school radio, where they're still banging out Nirvana, Metallica, all these bands and artists that either they're dead and gone, or yeah, I've heard this song for the last 30 years. What's new out there? Because
True.
there's new music all the time. And but there's I'm a music fan, and I'm always seeking new artists and music. Not everyone does that. And I think one of the things with Spotify that's great is, you might not be a huge music fan, but you're on that app, and an artist could come up that you may have never listened to, and you go, oh shit, who's this? Like you said, like you found us that way, and
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love those stories.
I'm happy that I found you guys. Like it's encouraging for you guys that you're putting out this music on this platform, gaining new
Right.
artists and hoping you gain new artists. Even though it's not a platform you're going to get massively paid on. I know the terribleness for paying for Spotify and that, of course, with streams and numbers, but still you're gaining fans, and that's what
Right.
really
And
is
numbers
evident.
grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. As the fans grow, the numbers grow. It's just, that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fantastic. It's a slow grind, but again, it comes back to the quality, the types of songs, and your ability that people latch onto. I mean,
Yeah.
Spotify could have recommended us to you, and you've been like, this band's garbage. Okay, well, thanks for the suggestion. But and I think too with other social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram, and myself and Ryan are very we're reaching out to fans and commenting back and forth, and building those relationships where that also just builds loyal fan base.
Right.
And people don't go, oh yeah, I wrote this band, and never hear back from them. Like, more often than not, you're going to hear some sort of response from us, and we appreciate that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We don't take any of that stuff for granted, because there is so much new music out there that for someone to give you 10 seconds to listen to your song means so much nowadays.
Yeah.
And I know that just because with my solo stuff that I've been putting out, I thought, oh, I've got this in the bag. People will be like, oh, he's in the Throw the Fight, bunch of listeners. It's different. You gotta, it takes time to build those audiences.
Yeah, it's encouraging that you have this fan base that is following you for probably a different music genre, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It helps you out. It motivates you. It really does.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and just people, again, with like playlists or sharing and telling your friends, and like, it's so easy to click and go follow this band. That's it. It's a click of a button.
It's
you
free.
could suggest, yo, hey, to whatever, one of your homies, and be like, yo, check out this band. And in 2 seconds, he can start following us.
True.
Where back in the day, it's like, hey, check out this band. Okay, well, next time I'm at the record store or whatever,
or at a concert or something, right?
Yeah, or at a concert, I'll go check them out. And by then it's like 6, 7 months later, and you're like, I don't even remember who you were talking about.
I get you. How about like a small artist that you've been getting into? I've talked to someone recently that they consider, like, they don't like calling them small artists, but like, who's someone you think is like that should be promoted, I guess, then?
Like a up and coming artist that I like.
Artist, yeah.
Shoot. Well, I mean, some friends of mine, they're called the Ocean Deep. They kind of have like an 80s pop, but then kind of like an emo screamo vibe. So like they blend a lot of different genres. It's just super cool. God, I mean, I listen to so much stuff.
I'm like you too. I listen to everything from.
I mean, and there's some bands that I think are huge, and then I'm like, oh man, they're successful, but not popping off how I think they are. I'm just looking through my Spotify feed. I like this dude Mason, Mason. Okay. He's super chill. Let's see, Youth Fountain. They're pretty cool. They're more like a pop punk. Figure It Out. I think they're super good. They're from Arizona. Let's see. Oh man, I've got so much music.
I'm trying to think for something to recommend you, actually, for myself. I'm trying to think that as well, because you listen to.
I love Hundredth. A huge fan of them. Of course, they were, when they first came out, they're hardcore, and now they're more like chill synth pop. But they're phenomenal.
Okay. You enjoy pop punk, right?
What's that?
You enjoy pop punk, right?
Yeah, I do.
I'll suggest to you Alone I Walk. They're from, I guess, my town, Winnipeg. They're like an emo pop, kind of like pop punk-ish.
I'm just gonna say the same thing. Fall done.
Nice.
2 dudes?
Yeah, 2 dudes.
Hell yeah. Oh, they did a Tom Petty cover.
Yeah, they did a couple covers recently. They're starting to do a little bit of covers, but yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely check them out. Heck yeah.
Yeah, dude. If there's anything you want to tell the people, shout yourself out.
Yeah, I mean, just follow us on any social platform, Spotify, Apple, Throw the Fight. Everything's Throw the Fight MN for Minnesota. We're on Twitter, Instagram. I'm Kade Katz, KADE KATZ on all the platforms. You can follow my solo stuff on Spotify or Amazon, wherever you listen to music. It's out there. YouTube. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, everything's Kade Katz. And so I locked that down. Look for new music from Throw the Fight very, very soon. Like I said, we go in the studio next Saturday. So we'll probably have something in the pipeline in the next 8 to 10 weeks. And then, hopefully some show announcements. We just had some offers come through this week. So that was exciting. So hopefully we can just do some shows here and there and not be locked away in our homes like 2020. And my solo stuff, I've got new singles coming out probably every month for the rest of the year. It's more a chill, moody vibe. So check that out. And yeah, just follow us, hit us up on YouTube, comment, if you've heard this, please DM me and, give me a shout out. It'll be awesome. I'll respond. I promise. Might take me a couple of days, but dad life.
I feel that. But yeah, thank you so much, Kade, for coming on.
Yeah, dude, thank you so much. Yeah.